All right. Let's wait for more people to come in here. We're going to be doing something very special today. We're going to be doing something very special today. We're going to be talking about more current events than the topic we had originally planned. Originally, if you guys may recall, we were going to talk about CDL and pilot's licenses. I was also going to throw in discussion about BUIs, which is boating under the influence. But we will not be doing that today, as the topic you obviously can see is going to be quite different. Quite different today, as you can see from the title of this video. Riots, qualified immunity, and where the country is headed tonight and moving forward. It's going to be a very, very interesting night. And I say that tongue in cheek. It's going to be interesting to sit down and talk with you all. And it's also going to be interesting from the perspective of what's going to happen literally tonight. Literally. What has been happening on Thursday, yesterday on Friday, and today, Saturday, May 30th. Where are you guys from? Are you guys from the West Coast, East Coast? Are you guys from a different country? Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Where are you guys from? Arizona, Kentucky, Texas, Virginia, California, Jersey, Florida, Michigan, more Cali, more Kentucky, Illinois, South Carolina, more Kentucky, Anonymous, more Kentucky. So I have a lot of Kentucky people. That's good. That's good. So we will touch upon a little bit on that as well. But I want to talk about the country as a whole, not just Kentucky today. England, UK, a couple from there, Tampa Bay, Florida, Illinois. Yes, I can practice law outside of Kentucky, tire justice. If I get something called a pro hac vici, fancy word for allowing to practice law in another state in one case, rather than having a license to practice freely. California, New Mexico, more Florida, UK, very nice. America, Dana Walters is in America. Very cool. Do I have any mods? Do I have any mods in the chat? I'm definitely going to need a mod for what we're about to talk about. There's going to be Cleveland, Ohio. I used to live in Cleveland, Justin. I used to live in Cleveland. Louisiana. I think we have about half of the United States already covered. Hey, Liberty Cause. How long are you staying in here for, Liberty? Thanks, Gonzo. I try to stay in shape. Massachusetts, Long Island, Ireland. Wow. Alabama. Oh, we have like 30 states now. We got more than half of the United States covered. You have to start drafting a lawsuit. That's fair, Liberty Cause. Kim, B, are you guys in here by any chance? Kim, or my good buddy B, my good friend Kim. Nebraska. Nice. Suing the city. Nevada. Ooh, I wish I was in Vegas. Not right now, though. Right now, Vegas, I'm sure, is kind of dead. I'm hoping it's waking up slowly but surely. I feel like, I don't know, this microphone is like blocking my tie, and I don't like that. I mean, I like this microphone and I like it being in front of my face, but I should probably move it just to the side a little bit. Oh, tier justice. I'm sorry. Tier. Uh, tier justice. I'm gonna have to remember that. Tier, like actually reading it literally, phonetically, like tier. Yes, I always had that Yeti Liberty Cause. I've had it since January. It was at the office and I was in quarantine, so I couldn't get it. Anyone can take the DUI training course, Christian. I'm sure I can get you in touch with the right people. Give me a holler and I'll hook you up. The course is really not that expensive either. It's only $750 plus hotel and flight. So you're looking at probably spending about $1,500 flat from start to finish. Las Vegas is busy. That's good. That's really good to hear. Hey, Supreme. Hey, Missy. Wow, we already got almost 100 people in here, and it took 8 minutes. I mean, it's a hot topic. I changed my topic for today. Originally, you may recall we were going to talk about pilot, CDL, and boat DUI laws in Kentucky. I have since scrapped that topic over the events that have transpired over the last 2 days. And so I decided that this is going to be a whole lot more interesting, a whole lot more relevant. 1 second. A whole lot more relevant. Sorry about that. A whole lot more relevant and a whole lot more fascinating, I think, especially given the events that have been transpiring all across our great country. Mississippi is in the house. Australia, Toronto, nice. All the English-speaking countries. I think we got them covered. All but New Zealand. Anybody here from New Zealand? Anybody here from New Zealand? That's the only English-speaking country I think that we haven't covered yet. I have a couple of New Zealanders that come every once in a while, but I don't think I see them in the chat. Minnesota. I think we're about to cover all 50 states. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. There we go. Good day, New Zealand. Peter, don't worry. Don't worry. We got New Zealand covered. Peter, don't worry. We got New Zealand covered for you. South Africa and Liverpool. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so we got the whole world, literally. The whole world is watching. I'm afraid to ask SC certified, what is an Australian kiss? I do not know what that is. I do not know what that is. Morocco and Casablanca. What a great movie, too. This will be available to view later, Taylor. I'm going to more than likely save it. And more than likely, I'll also cut out this intro that we're doing right now. So I'm just going to let everybody kind of come in and get this started here. And just very, very shortly. New Jersey. No, New Jersey. If you're from Jersey, that I believe you pronounce it New Jersey, but if you're not from New Jersey, then you pronounce it New Jersey. Right, Kelly? I'm guessing you're from there. You probably know. I'm from Jersey, mate. From Jersey. I'm from Jersey. I'm not from Jersey, so you can obviously tell. I can't do the. Hey, do you have my car keys? Like, are you saying khakis or are you saying car keys? I always had that confusion. F. Lotog, thank you for the $5. Yes, I'm actually in Louisville, Kentucky, Brittany. Thank you for the $5, F. Lotog. Thoughts on the death of George Floyd? Do you believe it was excessive force? Should the officer be charged? And if so, what charges? Excellent, excellent question. We will absolutely get to that. Remind me if I forget. We're definitely going to be talking about Brianna Taylor. We are going to be talking about George Floyd. We're going to be talking about the riots happening all across our great nation right now. And we're going to be talking about qualified immunity, as well as where is the country headed and what's happening. And I can tell you what's happening right here at home in Louisville, what the governor and the mayor have instituted in this city. I was going to say in this country, literally in our backyard. So we will cover all of those. Again, don't forget to like this video, comment below, and subscribe to the channel. Drop your questions on the right-hand side in the chat. Donations are never required, but are always appreciated. They just buy my next cup of coffee or my next lunch, as you all know. So I really appreciate it. Again, at Flowtog, remind me if I forget. I'll try and get to that question. Yeah, don't forget to share either. That's a good point, Supreme. If you want to hit the share button and share it with your friends who might want to come in and listen to this talk that we're about to have, I think it's going to be a really, really, really powerful one for everybody, and very informative as well. So we'll begin very, very shortly. Is there anything in particular that you all are interested in hearing about today? Feel free to drop it off in the chat. I will see what questions are being asked, and I'll try to cover as many as I can. So, okay, all right. I think here we are coming up on 13, almost 14 minutes. So let's begin. I'll try and bookmark in my head about 13 minutes and 30 seconds. I'll cut the clip, and when I post it, I'll edit it and remove the excess, so people don't have to sit there and listen to this. Thank you, Colin. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening in the country. I did not see this coming. I think a lot of you are probably in the same boat. There's been a lot of recent and non-recent killings. You know, we all remember George Zimmerman. We all remember the police officer in Texas who shot the intruder. She thought it was an intruder. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head right now. I honestly didn't prepare this as a speech, and I'm not here to hit on your emotional buttons. So I think it's important to simply note as to how many killings have been committed, and I like to call them atrocities, by police officers against citizens of our great nation. And this is not new. This is recent, and it's been coming to light more and more and more because mass media is grabbing a hold of these stories since they create good headlines. The problem is, as we all know, whenever the media has the opportunity to support the government, the media is going to support the government. They're going to stand by police. They're not going to be going against police whenever they absolutely can. And that's reasonable. That's logical. Their goal is not to incite violence and riots and organized crime or anything like that. Their job is to report the news and keep the masses in control, to keep the masses in line, to keep the masses from acting out. So it's very logical and reasonable for the media to be supporting police all throughout. Even in my most recent interview, there were a couple of things that I wanted to say to the interviewer. And she told me ahead of time that I cannot talk about such and such topic. And And that's because it was going against police. Even though it was 100% true, it is a part of my practice. It is part of what I do for a living. It's what I see on a day-to-day basis in my office, phone calls coming through, people wanting to tell me things that they have seen, that I have seen, video footage of police officers arresting my clients, things that I have seen with my own two eyes. And I couldn't talk about it. She said I was not permitted to speak on this topic on air, and I could not say the thing that I wanted to say on the air. And at first it kind of shocked me, but at the same time I remembered, wait a second, this is a national TV station. So I understand why you do not want me to say the things that I'm going to say, because you do not want to be shut down yourself or being censored by the government or lose funding or lose clientele who are going to be afraid of coming your way after I say the things that I say. So my one speech is not worth your reputation. So I totally understand that. But there's a lot of things that that have been happening in our great nation. And as you all know, some of you that have been around for a longer while than others know that I myself have a civil rights 1983 action in Fulton County, Kentucky, where I represent a mentally ill individual who was shot and killed by a police officer. That case is currently pending, and we're currently in the summary judgment motion stage. We filed a motion for summary judgment. The defense has filed a motion for summary judgment. We filed our motions in limine, and we're waiting for responses from them as we are getting ready to submit our own response to their motion for summary judgment. I hope and anticipate that we will pass through the summary judgment stage, but that's all going to be up to the judge. So I am very, not just personally invested in this situation that's going on across the country, but I have my own case that is in the Western District of Kentucky federal court system. You can look it up. It is the estate of Mr. McClure, Charles Christopher McClure versus James R. Buckingham. It's public record. It's no secret. Anybody can look it up if you just go to the Western District of Kentucky and you can look up the case and see the case history. So that happened in January of 2017. That was almost 3.5 years ago now. It's amazing how time flies, but that's how long ago that was. So in that case, our client was shot and killed by a police officer after he was breaking windows of cars in Fulton, Kentucky. Like I said, we will see how. Well, let's get to the next topic real quick. So this kind of bleeds in very nicely into the doctrine of qualified immunity. Before we get to the riots, I want to talk about the state of the country in a minute, but I want to talk about the doctrine of qualified immunity. For most of you who may or may not know, thank you for the $15, by the way. I just saw this. Thank you, Sterling. I will definitely upload it. Qualified immunity. What is qualified immunity? I want to give you the literal definition, and then I'll give you an explanation. So the qualified immunity is a legal doctrine under United States federal law that shields government officials from being sued for discretionary actions performed within their official capacity unless their actions violated a clearly established federal law or constitutional right. Qualified immunity protects officials who make reasonable but mistaken judgments about open legal questions, but does not protect the plainly incompetent or those who knowingly violate the law. Okay? That's the literal definition. So what does that mean? If I am a police officer and I am acting under the capacity as a police officer, and I cause damage, be it the killing of someone or causing property damage, whatever it may be, so long as my judgment at the time, let's stick to the killings. At the time of the killing of the suspect, if my actions are going to be deemed reasonable, albeit mistaken. I made a mistake. Turns out what I thought was a gun, we've seen that case, I'm sure. What I thought was a gun turned out to be a pear or a water bottle or a cell phone. But I was under the impression, as the police officer at the time of my shooting of the suspect, I was in fear for my life, right? The magic language, or fear of death or serious physical injury. Serious physical injury or death. If I can show that I had a reasonable fear of either of those two things, even though later it turns out that I was completely wrong. Okay? This is the key. This is qualified immunity in a nutshell. Later it turns out, oh my God, I made a mistake. There is no gun. That is a water gun. That is a non-lethal, non-threatening object that would never in a million years cause harm to me. But it was dark. I couldn't see. I thought it was a gun. I was scared for my life, and I shot and I killed. I will be 9 times out of 10, unless my actions deemed by the court are unreasonable, so long as the court believes that my actions were reasonable, then I will be protected under qualified immunity. Now, unless my actions are also in violation of what's called clearly established federal law, which carries, it's a whole broad sector of violations that could or could not occur that we're not going to be able to cover them all. And this is not the platform or the type of discussion that I wanted to have. But essentially, if there's a law that says you are not permitted to kill under such and such circumstances, and I did so anyway, then qualified immunity will not shield me. Or vice versa, if there is no law that says a police officer is not permitted to do this, and I did something of that nature, and there's nothing in the books that says you can't, I will be protected as a police officer, as a government agent, under the guise of qualified immunity. So, as the final statement, I will repeat it with respect to the definition. It does not protect the plainly incompetent or those who knowingly violate the law. So let's talk about those two real quick. The plainly incompetent, I mean, goes without saying, just simple as it comes. Individuals who are plainly incompetent, the officers that are so obviously violating basic procedure, basic violations of the law, so obvious that any officer in their position would not have committed the act, they are not covered. Last but not least, knowingly violating the law, again, goes without saying, if I intentionally, knowingly, as a police officer, shot and killed someone, and they can prove it later, of course, this is a very narrow exception, then I, as the police officer, will not be protected by qualified immunity. So what does qualified immunity do for police officers and other government agents? It creates another barrier that the plaintiff, the person who is suing the department, let's stick to police here, another hurdle that they have to overcome. Okay? So now, if it's just two civilians suing each other in federal court, the only question is, what are the damages, how much are the damages, and what law was violated, right? With respect to suing police officers, you have all those three questions, plus the question of, did the officer act reasonably? And if they did not, you go back to square one, and then you just continue on with the lawsuit. They have to prove, the plaintiff still has to prove their case in front of a jury, but they will defeat summary judgment motion, right? But the problem is, with police officers, as I've said, you have two hurdles rather than just one for civilians. So rather than just proving your case, not only do you have to prove your underlying case with a police officer, you also have to show that they've acted unreasonably. And that is something that is not easy to do, because we have seen time and time again, courts bending over backwards, left, right, and center, backwards, in any way, shape, or form, kneeling, ducking under, just to make sure that the officer, to excuse the officer's conduct, to show that the officer actually acted reasonably, and that thereby protecting them, creating the guise of qualified immunity, and relinquishing them of all liability. Now, and this is all civil cases, right? This is all a question of civil money damages. A whole new problem is created in the criminal realm. The same officer I just told you that we represent in Fulton County, Kentucky, the case was presented to a grand jury. The grand jury was never shown the videotape of the cop killing our client before they made the decision whether to indict or not to indict. Let that sink in. Let me say that again, okay, for those of you who may have missed it, because this is mind-boggling. When the grand jury was meeting to decide whether or not to indict Buck Buckingham, the Commonwealth attorney, Michael Stacy, put Detective Lonnie Bell on the stand. He was the investigating Kentucky State Police detective in that case. He took the stand and he testified about the investigation he conducted, what he saw, what he analyzed, and in his opinion that James R. Buckingham acted within his official capacity and no mistakes were made. He acted reasonably under the circumstances. That was his determination of the case from the investigation that he conducted. Great. That's his opinion. Now let's go to the video footage, right? Because they had body camera evidence, they had dash cam evidence, and they never showed either to the grand jury. They never showed what happened to the grand jury. And guess what happened? The grand jury did not indict. They believed the detective. The detective said nothing out of the ordinary happened, in my professional opinion. And the prosecutor, Michael Stacy, never brought the case back. And there are no remedies. There are no remedies. The prosecutor has full discretion whether or not to bring the case back in front of the grand jury. This was back in May 2017. Since then, it has not come back in front of the jury, the grand jury. It is scary. So prosecutors have complete and full discretion as to whether or not to present the case to a grand jury. And then if no indictment is returned, they have complete power, complete authority, complete discretion, whether or not to bring the case back in front of the jury, the grand jury, again and again and again and again. And they can do it 100 times. I've seen it with my own clients. How when they fail, they try again until they get their ham sandwich indictment. Okay? Not in this case. Why? Because he was protecting the police officer. It's a small rural county in Kentucky. So let's talk about George Floyd and Brianna Taylor. Most of you probably know the name George Floyd. Not a lot of you, unless you're from Kentucky, know the name Brianna Taylor. Brianna Taylor is pretty much centralized, her case, because it originated in Louisville, Kentucky. It has not really made national news. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe because it's still kind of fresh. But George Floyd's case, which is the more recent one of the two, has made national headlines and is sweeping the nation as we speak. The EMT, that's correct, Chevy. So what is happening? What has happened in the two cases? Let's start with the lesser-known Brianna Taylor. Ms. Taylor was an EMT, an emergency medical technician. From my understanding, she was in her home with her boyfriend. She was in her bed. She was asleep. The police officers suspected that there was an armed and dangerous person inside where Brianna Taylor lived, and they got a warrant. And the warrant was for a no-knock warrant. A no-knock warrant simply means they don't have to knock and announce their presence, the police officers, when they arrive. Why? To get a no-knock warrant, you are required as the police agency to show that there is the possibility, a very likely possibility, that inside of the house of the person you're going into, the person has committed a felony and is more than likely armed and dangerous. Okay, those two things are required. So apparently they were able to get that. They got the no-knock warrant. They came to her house, knocked the door down, walked upstairs, and shot Brianna where she was because her boyfriend was shooting back, thinking there's a burglary in progress because there was no knock and announce. Like I said, it's a no-knock warrant. And they shot Brianna 8 times. The boyfriend was later arrested on charges of attempted murder of a police officer and subsequently released just, I believe, last Friday. He was released because the Commonwealth Attorney, Tom Wine, in Louisville, Kentucky, stated that they needed to do additional investigation in order to determine whether or not her boyfriend is indeed should have these charges pinned against him. I don't believe she was armed, Johnny. He was, but she was not. Killed in cold blood. So there is a civil lawsuit pending against Brianna Taylor. I'm actually trying to get the lawyer, one of the lawyers who represents her, on stream to talk about other stuff, not to talk about the case. I know that she may not be able to talk about the case, but she's a brilliant attorney. Her name is Ashley. She was even protesting yesterday, and God bless her. I mean, she's a fighter, former public defender as well. She's got a great heart. I mean, unbelievable person. And she's representing the family of Brianna Taylor, who has filed a civil lawsuit along with Sam Aguiar with Aguiar Law Offices. So that's Brianna Taylor's case. George Floyd. George Floyd was arrested after a routine traffic stop has occurred in Minneapolis, Minnesota. George Floyd was taken out of his vehicle, placed in handcuffs, and temporarily placed against the wall of a building next to his car. For some unknown reason, George Floyd was moved across the street, and a police cruiser was blocking most of the action. But some of the bystanders nearby were able to capture the footage on video. And the police officer, who there were 4 police officers that were handling, I guess, I don't know what other word to use, George Floyd as he was on the ground. Before he got to we don't know how he got to the ground. There's no video footage of that, unfortunately. But what we do know is that there are 4 police officers. Basically, what it looked like was one police officer was near his legs or near his feet. The other officer was near his legs. The third officer was near his torso. And of course, our main character, as we know, the main police officer who had his left knee jammed into George Floyd's neck. Now, a little bit of history. Turns out that both George Floyd and that cop worked in the same nightclub. And that police officer had 17 complaints over the last 16 years, his last 16 years on the force. Pretty much every single one of them dismissed without discipline, if not every single one. Another police officer had about 5 complaints and no discipline, and the other 2 had clean records. I guess they were rookies in training. So you could see George Floyd on the ground saying audibly, you could audibly hear, "I can't breathe." I can't breathe. He's asking the police officer to take his knee off his neck. The police officers have later tried to show that they have policy that allows them to use these types of maneuvers, but that has pretty much been debunked. Unless the suspect is actively resisting, no such maneuvers are permitted to be performed by police officers. These are not maneuvers that they're trained to do. These are not maneuvers that they're trained to pursue. These are very dangerous maneuvers that cause death and they cause serious physical injury to suspects. So they must be avoided at all costs. Yet the officer in this case obviously led to the death of Mr. Floyd. And that's why that maneuver is not supposed to be used. So the problem with the country, circling back, is that police officers act in this way. Why do they act in this way? Because police officers have this qualified immunity doctrine protecting them. And they're unafraid because they know that courts are going to continue bending over backwards in order to remove liability from them, to free them. So the problem with officers and their unfettered discretion when it comes to killing civilians in the United States of America is the fact that officers have become completely arrogant and they have started abusing this doctrine of qualified immunity, as government is wont to do. This is no surprise. This is not shocking to at least me. I don't know if anybody is shocked by this. I am not shocked in the least. This is what governments do. This is what people who work for the government do. They, over time, they just start stepping, they start pushing the boundary of what they're permitted to do just ever so slightly forward, and push it maybe a little bit more forward and see, can I do this? Oh, I can do this. I am permitted to do this. This is not going to change my position. This is not going to, I'm not going to lose my job. I'm not going to be disciplined for it. Sorry, my dog is barking in the background. We got somebody walking by. This is not going to change my position. This is not going, I'm not going to be disciplined for it. I'm definitely not going to lose my job. Maybe get rotated to another division, worst case scenario. Definitely not going to be paying for this, not out of my own pocket at least. And so this boundary, they become cocky. Exactly, Richard. This boundary has been pushed more and 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 more over the years, over the last 50, 60 years since this doctrine has been alive. There has almost been no checks or balances to test this system against modern day police. And therein lies the problem. And people have protested before. Riots have occurred before. They were never this violent or extreme as they have been up until the last couple of days. But the people have spoken. The people have spoken. The people see the issue. The people see that their kind, both black and white, our client, by the way, in Fulton County, Kentucky, the mentally ill, was white. He was not black. So this the targets appear to be the mentally ill or the mentally incompetent and African American. Those seem to be the easiest targets to police because they offer the least amount of resistance, or if you want to look at it this way, the most amount of unreasonable resistance. And so they can be taken out unfettered with complete discretion, knowing that later on they're going to be absolved of all liability by the courts of law, and they're going to be released, no questions asked, to go back to their next duties as a police officer. Excuse me. So let's talk about what is happening. Over the last 2 days, and it continues actually as we speak right now, all across this great land, riots and peaceful protests, vandalism, and chaos is happening in a lot of major cities. San Francisco, I believe San Jose, Atlanta, Georgia, New Mexico. I know there's one city there, I believe. Minneapolis, of course. Cleveland, Ohio, Chicago. There were a couple in Florida, in Tampa, New York, and of course, Louisville, Kentucky. Those are the ones that I know. Atlanta, Georgia also. Those are the ones I know off the top of my head. I'm sure there are more. And this is the people speaking up, because this is the only way we know how, as a people, to get the government to listen. Now, the problem is the peaceful protesters are also being accompanied by vigilantes, vandals, and other criminals who are breaking windows, who are defacing property with graffiti, who are stealing stuff from stores. That I am not okay with, nor should you be. The only problem is this is an opportunity. There are opportunists, pure and simple, who are taking this opportunity that these protests are happening, and they're taking to the streets to destroy, deface, and steal. So it's collateral damage that accompanies these peaceful protests. I understand that. As much as I would like for it to end, I think this was supposed to happen, as sad as it makes me. Because the government, time and time again, including the Supreme Court, have shown that they are not willing to modify the doctrine of qualified immunity, and they are not willing to put police officers under a microscope. And this is where the problem is, and this is where it begins and ends. Now, two things will happen. Two things will happen with these protests and riots and acts of both peace and violence in all these cities, including Louisville, Kentucky, where I am. I mean, this was happening literally just a few miles from where I was yesterday. I wasn't scared. I was at home sitting comfortably. I knew that their goal is not to vandal people's homes. So I was not worried about it. But did I want to venture outside? Absolutely not. So this is where this is going to go, in my opinion. The government now has, number one, the government has to deal with these riots. The mayor of Louisville, Greg Fisher, has instituted a curfew both for Saturday, May 30th and Sunday, May 31st. In Louisville, Kentucky, in Jefferson County. The curfew is to last from 6:30 p.m. From 9 p.m. until 6:30 a.m. Basically, sundown to sunrise, both days. We are not permitted to venture outside unless for an emergency or a medical reason. If you are a business, you are mandated to close down, or you're permitted to be open, but so long as you're not actively accepting customers into your business. Governor Beshear has furthermore instituted and called in the National Guard, and the National Guard is going to be coming in. I've already heard and seen helicopters and planes coming into Bowman Field. It's about to go down, basically, is what it's starting to seem like. Furthermore, the court has violated the Kentucky Constitution, provisions 14, 15, and 16. The court system, in fear for their own safety of their own staff and personnel, have shut down the courthouse this morning. They announced the shutdown yesterday afternoon, that there will be no arraignment court this morning for everybody who's been arrested last night and will be arrested overnight. Arraignment court will resume on Monday morning. They've also are prohibiting anybody from posting bond until Monday morning. So basically, everybody who is going to be arrested between Friday night, yesterday, and Monday, I guess Sunday night, unless you get arrested super early Monday morning, you are going to be stuck in jail until Monday morning at 9 a.m. for arraignment court. They have completely deprived people of their constitutional rights, and they're hiding behind the fact that they're doing this for purposes of protecting their employees. Can they do that? I think I've seen some people ask the question. No, they cannot. The law does not permit them to, for the government, the local government, to withdraw our rights without the consent of the legislature. And they did this unilaterally, no checks and balances. It is absolutely unprecedented what is happening in this country. First, we had the COVID-19 issue. A lot of people's rights have been taken away left and right. And now we have this going on. I mean, these are times that, remember this, folks. This is the type of stuff that you're going to be telling your grandchildren when you're a grandpa and a grandma. We're living in times. This is a combination of the 1940s, the 1950s, the 1970s, during the Vietnam War protests, during the World War II protests, people having to abide by curfews. This is what the country is looking like right now. So tonight, I don't encourage anyone to go out and protest, but if you do so, obviously wear a mask, since social distancing and mask wearing is still mandatory in most jurisdictions. And plus, it seems that the mask is also serving a dual purpose, almost a triple purpose. You are following the state's guidelines. You are also helping yourself if tear gas is released by police in your direction. It also hides your identity from the government and other individuals, because it's harder to discern who is who if they cannot see their full face. Like I said, I'm a firm believer and a firm supporter of what is happening. I hope it ends soon. It's a game of chess that is happening between the people and the government right now. And the government has shown time and time again that they are not willing to curtail qualified immunity. They are not willing to simply absolve police officers, of liability for shooting and killing unarmed, innocent citizens without probable cause or reasonable suspicion, and protecting them under the guise of the doctrine of qualified immunity. The people have spoken before. The people have asked, this is not okay. Qualified immunity should be curtailed. Qualified immunity should be removed. Qualified immunity should be looked at and reanalyzed and rethought through. And the government, time and time again, has proven that they're not going to do that. Or if they are going to do that, they're going to do so little that it means nothing to the people. And now the people are once again speaking. And once again, the people are acting. So it remains to be seen. It is now the government is in check in a game of chess. You know, when the king is in check, well, the government is in check right now by the people. This was our move. And now the government has to decide how to respond, which is very timely since the Supreme Court is about to rule on qualified immunity with the 10 cases that they have remaining in their on their docket. Excuse me. And with the recent killings of Brianna Taylor and George Floyd, this is the perfect time. People are also angry and antsy from the quarantine, so it's completely understandable. People have been out of a job. A lot of people have not made any money or been on unemployment. Some people, even though filed for unemployment and qualify for unemployment, have not received unemployment. So it's very frustrating and uneasy for a lot of people right now, and it's completely and utterly understandable. And I stand with you all. I stand with you in spirit, and I raise a glass, a plastic bottle, in solidarity with everyone who is protesting today and tomorrow and protested yesterday. I understand that some people see these protests as acts of violence. And once again, I said that is not true. The violence, unfortunately, accompanies it as individuals who are opportunistic are also taking to the streets along with the peaceful protesters to accomplish their own personal agenda. I do not stand by those as much as I would love to. I understand that there are collateral damage, and that's going to happen. However, I do stand with the peaceful protesters who are trying to tell the government loud and clear, this is not okay. We will not continue to sit idly by and watch as your armed guards, as some of you like to refer to them as revenue collectors, also known as peacekeepers, if any of you have seen the Hunger Games. Revenue collectors, peacekeepers, we're here to protect and serve, to harass and collect, whatever you want to call them. Cops, police officers, 5-0. If you're going to let these individuals completely off the hook with the killing of unarmed, innocent civilians, we are not okay with it. We, and I speak personally myself here, I am not okay with it. The killing of Brianna Taylor, the killing of George Floyd are completely unjustified, and the police officers must be held accountable, both criminally and civilly. Now, yesterday, I believe it happened yesterday. George Floyd's killer, the cop, I don't recall his name off the top of my head. I didn't bother too much to remember it. He is being prosecuted, and he is being charged with third-degree murder or third-degree manslaughter, one of those two. It carries up to 5 years in prison in Minnesota, and the prosecutor has complete discretion as to how to charge. Now, a lot of people have asked me, what are going to be the charges? What do you think the verdict is going to be? I mean, there's a lot of questions, obviously. But let's start with the basics. So first and foremost, what is he going to be charged with? So the prosecutor has to play it smart. They can't simply charge him with murder, first-degree murder. I mean, that's an easy answer. So anybody who is asking, why are they not charging him with first-degree murder, this is the easiest answer in the world. There's no intent, okay? The intent, the premeditated desire. I know what some of you may say. It's obvious. It should be charged this way, and I know where you're coming from, but the law just, it's so incredibly difficult to win on first-degree murder. And I don't know the statute in Minnesota. I assume it's very similar to that of Kentucky's. It requires, there's first-degree, second-degree. One requires premeditation, the other does not. They both pretty much carry the same charge, penalty, all despite the fact that they're different charges, first-degree and second-degree murder. It's just that second-degree murder does not carry the death penalty. The first-degree murder does carry the death penalty in most states, and I'm not sure if Minnesota does or does not. But it is the prosecutor's discretion and decision as to which charge to go under. And I don't know if they can direct indict in Minnesota. Does it have to go through a grand jury? There's a lot of things that I don't know. But what I do know is that the prosecutor has full, complete, unfettered discretion as to which charge to go after against the officer who killed George Floyd. And I think somebody mentioned him. Derek Chauvin. Thank you, Supreme. Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin is the cop. So Derek can be charged with because I can't call him Officer Chavan. Derek can be charged with first degree, second degree, third degree murder, manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, and everything in between. The prosecutor has to make a very careful calculation. And the calculation entails what he thinks he can get from a jury to get a jury to convict beyond a reasonable doubt. Don't forget, this is the standard, okay? In a criminal case, that is the standard. So just like any other criminal case, the standard is beyond a reasonable doubt in this case. And if you all want, let's go ahead and do this. Minneapolis, Minnesota. So Minnesota, let me look up while we're doing this. Minnesota, murder, third degree. I think that's the one that he was charged under. Minnesota, third degree murder. I believe this is it. The George Floyd case. Here we go. That's perfect. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chavan was arrested on Friday. So he was arrested yesterday. There it is. He was charged with third degree murder and manslaughter in Monday's death of George Floyd. Chavan, 44, is accused of keeping his knee on the 46-year-old man's neck for more than 8 minutes. Just horrific. If convicted, he could spend more than a dozen years in prison, and he's looking at 25, I believe. I'm trying to find the statute. If anybody wanna, I know you guys can't post on. This is going to be really hard. There's just so many articles about this story that I can't find the actual statute. Let's see, third degree statute. Here we go. No, that's not it. Whoever with the intent, yeah, here we go. Whoever without, according to Minnesota law, here we go. There it is. 2019 Minnesota statute 609.195. Murder in the third degree. Whoever, this is a quote, okay, subsection A. Whoever, without intent to effect the death of any person, causes the death of another by perpetrating an act eminently dangerous to others and evincing a depraved mind, without regard for human life, is guilty of murder in the third degree and may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 25 years. I don't think that applies because it says the death of another, unless they're meaning the death of another person. And then we have subsection B. Whoever, without intent to cause death, proximately causes the death of a human being by directly or indirectly, unlawfully selling, giving away, bartering, delivering, exchanging, distributing, or administering a controlled substance. No, that's not it. So it's got to be A. So it's got to be A. When they say the death of another person, the death of another, I mean, they mean another person, not a third person. So whoever, without the intent to effect the death, so no intent necessary. Okay, this is the key. This is what the prosecutor elected to do. This is what the prosecutor elected to go under. And I think that's a smart decision, because let's go ahead and look at real quick what is second degree murder in Minnesota. This is a similar statute. That one was 609.195. This one is 609.19. Murder in the second degree. It still carries unintentional murders under it. Whoever does either of the following is guilty of unintentional murder in the second degree and may be sentenced for not more than 40 years. Causes the death of a human being without intent to effect the death of any person while committing or attempting to commit a felony offense. So it doesn't work. The officer was not committing a felony by definition of the term. Obviously, the offense itself was a felony, but let's say if the officer was committing a burglary while he was killing George, then he would be able to be charged with second-degree murder. But because the officer was still acting under color of law, unfortunately, then he can't be charged with second degree. So second degree doesn't work. And without even looking, I can tell you what first degree is going to say, but let's look at it anyway. 609.185, murder in the first degree, causing the death of another human being with premeditation and with intent. I mean, the prosecutor would have to prove that Derek went out and before coming to the scene, he said, okay, how am I going to kill this guy? And trying to figure out a plan of action. Okay, a knee to the neck would be a very good way of doing it. I could also strangle him, maybe tasing him if he's not resistant to electricity. You know, that would be premeditation. He was ahead of time. He was thinking of how to kill George, and that would not be something that the prosecutor can go under. So murder in the first degree falls off the face of the planet outright. While committing another felony, obviously also did not occur. And that one, by the way, the first degree murder should be a capital offense. I'm almost certain. I'm trying to find here. This is a Minnesota statute, so I'm not familiar with it. Domestic abuse. Whoever does it causes the death of another person. I don't think it says it on here, but I'm sure it's a capital offense. So third offense is up to 25 years. Third degree, excuse me. Second degree is up to 40 years, and I'm sure first degree is a capital offense. Life imprisonment. Oh, there it is. So no, it looks like they don't have. Kentucky does have the death penalty, which I'm also against. But there it is. Shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life. So it's life imprisonment, for first degree murder, up to 40 years for second, but none of those apply. Third degree is the perfect statute. This is exactly what happened. And let's insert. I'm gonna copy and paste this so you guys can see and read it with your own eyes. Let's see. This is the statute. Whoever, and let's insert the names here. Derek, without the intent to effect the death of George, he did not intend. At the end of the day, that's easy to prove. Without intending to effect the death of George, causes the death of George, which he did, by perpetrating an act eminently dangerous to others, placing his knee on George's neck, and evincing a depraved mind without regard for human life, despite the fact that George kept pleading for his life and saying, I can't breathe. You have your knee on my neck. I can't breathe. Help. We got that. Is guilty of murder in the third degree and may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 25 years. So he's looking down the barrel at it. And by the way, I haven't said this in a while. Don't forget to like this video if you are enjoying this content. Comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Now, so that's the statute. That's the Minnesota murder in the third degree statute. Now, let me go back. I think a couple of questions and donations were erased. F. Lotog, what question did you have? I'm sorry, could you please post it? And somebody else donated. I'm sorry. Whatever questions you had, I want to hear your questions. Let me get to this one that is currently active on my channel. How do I go back? Can I go back and see the earlier questions? They've already gone off my screen. I don't know if I can scroll all the way up. So if you can please, I know F. Lotog, you had a question, and then somebody else donated. I think $15 it was in yellow. So please drop it in so that I can see. Is it possible, Trashman4444 says, is it possible to charge the riot cop there in Louisville who pepperballed the reporter who was on the air at the time with any kind of assault charge, since it was clearly malicious? I would say so. That would be an assault and battery. Quite intentional. I mean, it's an intentional act. There's contact with the person. There was no justification for it. I think the cop can be charged. The only problem is we don't know who it is because their face was covered. They had face coverings on, and we couldn't see who they were. And I think that's the only reason they really acted in the way that they acted, because they knew that their face would not be visible. So it's a really cowardly move, in my opinion. And I watched that video like 5 times, and I tried to find a justification for it. It was clear that the reporters were behind the police lines. They weren't even with the protesters. They were on the side, and you could see the police officer with his riot gear come up and literally turn directly at the reporters and her cameraman and begin firing rubber bullets or whatever it was at them. Why? What is the justification for it? That video was very confusing and very inappropriate. So I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. F Lotog, if you're still in here, I think F Lotog, I remember your question now. You said, do I stand with George? Do I believe the killing was justified? Do I support the police or do I support the family? Of course, I already answered that. I support George 100%. The killing was not justified. It was unjust. It was improper. Improper police tactics were used. And that is completely uncalled for, and justice needs to be served. So his arrest, the officer's arrest, Derek's arrest yesterday, completely proper. He has been properly charged, and I believe that he should get convicted. He should get convicted. Now, he's already being convicted by the media. That goes without saying, but he should be convicted. I don't anticipate him weaseling his way out of it. Now, of course, the prosecutor can choose to drop charges at any time for any reason. We all know that. We have seen that happen how many times, but we'll see. I guess we'll see. Thank you, Bob, for the $4 donation. I really appreciate it. Josh Ross, my previous was more of a statement than a question. Where do I stand on prison reform? I think we need to do away with private prisons, and we need to do away with the bail system. Those are my 2 personal opinions, Josh. Again, don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you all for joining. This is we're talking about Brianna Taylor. We're talking about the riots currently happening across our country, and we're talking about George Floyd and Derek, the cop who killed him. So I think somebody asked, he's got a $500,000 bond, the police officer. So if somebody can post $500,000, the cop will walk free. If they don't, he will remain in jail pending his trial, which could be in weeks or months. So I think somebody posted on here asking, would I represent the police officer for $1 million or something like that, or 2 million or 10 million? And the question is not about the money. It's about the type of reputation that you want to have as an attorney in this country, in this life. And do I want to be known as the guy who represents police officers who are charged with killing of unarmed civilians? And the answer is no. Despite the fact that you all know me, I am the DUI guy. I obviously advertise and brand myself as such. I represent people who very often are guilty before they even come into my office. Guilty by the fact that they've said too much, done too much, drank too much, told the cop too much, admitted too much, and drove under the influence. And I represent those people. Why? Because that is my niche. That is the niche that I chose. People say, how can you represent guilty people? It's part of the job. It's just what it is. There is no emotional investment in it. I separate business and personal very easily. But I don't represent people who have committed murder. I don't represent very violent felonies. Why? Because I'm not that type of person. I just can't see it in myself to represent people who are being charged with violent felonies. I don't want to talk to these people. I don't want to deal with these people. I don't want to talk to burglars and robbers and murderers and rapists, child molesters and killers. I don't want to represent these people. I, as a private defense attorney, have that luxury. I have that option. I can choose not to represent them. So I don't. And the answer, again, even for $1 million, that $1 million is worthless to me, because I would be known as the guy who represented Derek, what's his face, the cop who allegedly killed. And what if I get him off on top of everything? If I get him off, I don't know. Would I be able to live with myself? That's a very, very, very difficult question and some defense lawyers are okay with it. Some defense lawyers are able to separate even that. A very prominent figure in our city in Louisville, Kentucky, who is a very famous, very good, I mean, wow, good defense attorney is Rob Eggert. Rob Eggert is, I think he's a genius. He's a genius, and he's the best. He's the most expensive. He's the best. He's the smartest. He will pretty much he may not walk the case, meaning get a not guilty, but so many times when his clients get charged with murder and they're looking at the death penalty or life in imprisonment, he gets it down to a manslaughter first, and they end up serving 5 years. I mean, think about it. They're still going to jail, right? They're not walking away scot-free. That's not the point. The point is they just went from spending the rest of their lives in prison, potentially, to simply going there for a few years. So that is a victory in any defense attorney's book, and I'm sure you would agree. So you have to understand that every lawyer is different. Some lawyers will never touch DUIs. Some lawyers do nothing but car accidents all day, every day, and they do civil work. And when they get a speeding ticket case from their buddy from high school who just picked up a ticket, what do? They pick up the phone and they call me and say, Larry, do you mind helping my friend out? And I'm thinking in the back of my head, it's just a speeding ticket. Like, are you kidding me? This is the easiest thing in the world. But then I have to remember, they have never been in district court before. They don't even know what it looks like. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. So it's completely reasonable and logical that they would ask the client to hire me and speak to me rather than me rather than them to represent them. So that's pretty much the state of our country. Circling back, the riots, I think they're continuing right now. The curfew in Louisville, Kentucky, is about to be instituted in about an hour and 6 minutes, it looks like. So the curfew is going to go into effect. The National Guard is probably going to rally downtown. If they haven't already, they're probably on their way there. And I don't know, folks. Tonight is going to be crazy. Tonight is going to be something very unprecedented for everybody involved, for the police, for the people, the public, the protesters, everybody involved. The businesses downtown. My business is downtown. I talked to my landlord. She said she stopped by. For now, our business is still intact, and I hope it will. But if it's going to suffer the collateral damage, it's going to suffer the collateral damage. I mean, there's nothing I can do to stop it. So I'm hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. Mostly, they seem to be going into stores. They seem to be going. In places they can actually loot, and really not much you can steal from a law office except a bunch of books. So I'm hoping we're probably in the clear, and we're also kind of offside from the courthouse. We're across the street, but we're kind of diagonally across the street. So hopefully this is going to go by. But hey, like I said, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do to stop it. So why cry over potentially spilled milk? That's my policy. So I want to open the floor up to questions. I've been talking the last hour about this, giving you my opinions, giving you my thoughts, talking about George Floyd, talking about Brianna Taylor, the riots and the protests, the vandalism. We talked about qualified immunity. We talked about where this is headed, where this should be headed, why it's happening, what is happening, etc. I want to hear from you guys. What questions do you have on this issue? What types of issues do you have with this? Do you have any issues with it? Do you like what's happening? Do you not like what's happening? Do you want it to end as quickly as possible? Give me your thoughts. Let's have a little chitter chatter. We got plenty of time here. We got plenty of time. I'm going to stick around for a while. This is a very, very, very important topic, and I will stay as long as it takes to answer as many questions as I can. So let's see here. Let's dive into some questions. Can a Grillman Free 50 asks, Actually, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I just needed a little snack. Okay. Grillman 350 asks, can a business owner use deadly force to protect business? The answer is absolutely not. Never. Because deadly force cannot be used to protect property. Deadly force can only be used to protect other persons or yourself. So, for instance, I may not stand with a baseball bat in front of my business, and if somebody tries to vandalize it, to beat him over the head. No, 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 no. Did I already talk about qualified immunity? Yes, I did, Carter. What do you think will happen in the Supreme Court? I don't know. I really have no idea. I've been going back and forth on this issue. I don't know how the Supreme Court is going to rule. I'm hoping with all these riots across the country, they're going to act in our best interest and kind of mold qualified immunity and release it a little bit, release the hold on police officers to make them more liable in a slew of situations. But who knows? I mean, who knows? I do agree. It does need to be overturned, Kathy Miller. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that little notification bell so you get notified of when I go live or when I release a new video. Rioting is protected by the First Amendment. Zaz, Arizona, I wouldn't go that far. Rioting, peaceful protesting, yes, that's the First Amendment. Rioting depends on what you're doing in that riot. If once you start breaking the line between peaceful protest and destroying property, you're no longer protected. That becomes violent at that point. Am I scared of the impending recession, Emmanuel? That's completely unrelated, but I guess I'll answer that since I'm on the topic. No, I'm not. Does the economy affect criminal law negatively or positively? I don't just do criminal law anymore. Because of the recession, I've went into a lot more civil. I've expanded my civil practice tremendously, and I just nothing really affects a lawyer's business unless you do. I mean, I'm trying to think who has been unless you do nothing but criminal law, like assaults and battery and domestic violence, which those are still happening. It's just you don't have business right now immediately, but when the courts reopen up, you're going to have a bunch of business. Who has been really affected that much? Sure, a few businesses have probably gone out of business. I'm not concerned. I'm knock on wood. You know, I'm doing okay. And but it has definitely negatively impacted the criminal law realm. Definitely. I mean, DUIs have literally taken a nosedive, absolute nosedive. And that's a good thing. Like I always said, I'll move on to the next thing as I already did. So like I'm living up to my word. I'm literally a living, breathing creature of my word. So it's life. I don't want to talk about Trump. I don't want to get into politics. Karen Walker asks, can you clarify on what do you mean do away with the bail system? Very simply. So what is bail? Bail is if after you get arrested, the judge can release you for free, assuming you'll come back to court. The court will, I mean. Or they can set a monetary bond or bail that you have to post in order to get out to ascertain that you will return to court. If you're a flight risk, if you are a criminal with a lengthy history, so it seems like you're probably going to do this again, and this money will actually keep you hostage while you're incarcerated. I mean, that's really what it is. And we've heard the horror stories of people not paying a parking ticket, like a $37 parking ticket, or a speeding, or like a $200 speeding ticket, and then that turns into a whole case where they spend months, if not years, in prison, in jail. They spend it in jail. They don't really go to prison. They're sitting at the local jail just because nobody can bond them out. The $250 bail nobody can afford because they either don't have anybody, they're homeless. I mean, it could be a slew of different things. So there is a huge movement to do away with the bail system, and the warrants that people get issued for failure to appear across the whole country. Warrants are no longer issued for traffic offenses. So that has worked. That has now worked, and you cannot be summoned into court and be arrested for failure to pay a speeding ticket. You'll get a citation. You'll get a piece of paper that tells you to come to court, but you cannot be arrested and thrown in jail for failure to pay a speeding ticket and not showing up to court for it. So that has been done away with. Martial law, it's not going to be declared. You can relax, Stone Glasgow. We are a long time away from it. Why haven't the other 3 officers been arrested yet, Gary? It's all prosecutorial discretion. How do I feel about unconscious neck restraints being in police policies? They should be removed. And I think there was an expert that already testified on one of the news stations that unconscious neck restraints are just inhuman, basically, in one word. They're inhuman. You cannot treat a human being in such a fashion. It's unprecedented. Derek Chauvin's wife just announced that she's filing. Oh, where'd it go? Divorce. I lost you. Divorce. There we go. Thank you, Control. Oh my goodness, so many questions. Derek Chauvin's wife announced that she is filing for a divorce after 10 years, Dave K. Well, good for her. She needs to get away from that guy. Trashman4444. Once again, when can you sue? Thank you for the $5. When can you sue over a false arrest? Is there a threshold where the arrest is too unreasonable for qualified immunity? Are you talking about Minneapolis and Minnesota? Because I can't answer that. I can't answer that question. But in Kentucky, you can always sue over a false arrest. The only problem is jumping over qualified immunity. Obviously, you're going to have that issue, which you already alluded to. So it's got to be unreasonable. It's got to be completely unreasonable. And you better have some damages, because unless you're going to file it pro se, meaning by yourself, no lawyer in the world is going to take even a dead-on winning case where there's no injury, no threat of violence or actual violence against you, no injuries to you, nothing but maybe hurting your feelings, even emotional distress. I mean, it's going to be very, very, very hard to find a lawyer to file those lawsuits, in my opinion. I'm sure they're out there. And in some jurisdictions, this is all they do. So they just file these en masse, and you may be able to find them. In Kentucky, you're not going to have, and this is why Kentucky officers have lost their minds. They have completely lost their minds in Kentucky. Police officers are acting with such unfettered discretion. They're doing things that no police officer in the entire country would dare to do. Some maybe backwards places in Arkansas or Alabama or Minnesota or Mississippi, they would be okay to still do. But there's so many things that I see officers do, even on my clients' arrests, that you just want to go, Why are you doing this? And then you remember, oh yeah, because no one has ever questioned your authority. Every defense lawyer who has ever walked into the courtroom on your case has bent over backwards and just took a plea deal. Or just bent over, I should say. Bent over and took a plea deal. No one has ever put you on the stand. I have had cases where I put an officer on the stand and I legitimately asked them, you know, they've been on the force 17 years. Have you ever testified before? No, I have not. This is my first time. 17 years on. How many arrests have you had? I don't know, a couple thousand. You have had over 2,000 arrests and no one has ever put you on the stand to ask you a question? Well, a couple of times I testified in front of the grand jury. That doesn't count. There is no cross-examination in a grand jury proceeding. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable what is happening. I mean, unbelievable. All right, let's get back to the questions. Can the officers be charged with murder for killing Ms. Brianna Taylor when they already had the suspect in jail? Cecil Rollins asks. Maybe. I mean, again, murder, it's got to be premeditated. If you can show that the officers went in just to go kill somebody when they already had the suspect in jail, then sure. It's going to be extremely difficult, but maybe. But I wouldn't go for that. That seems extreme. If you live upstairs, Montana West Photography, in your business, which is downstairs, you can absolutely use deadly force. Yeah, that's the Castle Doctrine. The Castle Doctrine, this is not what I was talking about. Somebody asking they protect their business. Like somebody is about to break down my business door and I'm outside with a baseball bat. Can I bunk them over the head because they're about to break in my business? Again, the answer is no. My business is my property. I do not live in it. It is not a dwelling. It is not a residence. I am not authorized by law to use deadly force to protect my business, unless it also doubles as my domicile, my place of living. Then the Castle Doctrine applies. As long as you're inside. If you're outside the business, different jurisdictions are going to have different rules on that as well. So remember. There's a lot of questions here that are so out of context that were asked like 10 minutes ago. I'm sorry. Let me I can't keep up. There are just so many. Do I have any mods? Do I have any mods in the chat? Any mods? I haven't seen B or Kim today, but I saw Liberty Cause and I think he left. He said he was filing a suit against the city. I have not followed Joe Exotic Preston, so I don't know. Thanks, Joe. All right, keep the questions coming. Keep the questions coming. I guess I'm going to go back and try and catch up. There aren't that many questions. Opinion, cops as provocateurs during riots. I mean, sure, just like people are provoking them, so are the police provoking the public. So it goes both ways. I'm not going to say that the police are all right and the public is all wrong, or vice versa, that the police are all wrong and the public is all right. I mean, it goes both ways. You have provocateurs and instigators on both sides of the equation. That's just the way it's going to happen. What other questions do you guys have? Also, again, don't forget to like this video. Thank you for subscribing, Jimmy. or who was it that subscribed? Grillman free 50. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you get notified of times when I go live and post new videos. Hopefully with court going back into session on Monday, 2 days from now, super excited about that. Jefferson County, because of all the damage that has been caused to the property of the courthouse, that is going to delay their opening. So unfortunately, that's probably going to keep them from opening until, they said June 15th. I think with all the damage that happened yesterday and could potentially happen today, is all going to be delayed even further. I do not tolerate such behavior on my channel, Ryan. So goodbye. If you're not going to be asking legitimate questions, you will be booted. I am in live chat, Travis Bryant. I'm not in top chat. It says live chat on my thing. Why do away with the bail system, Karen? Well, just like I was saying earlier, I thought I already answered that question. It will allow people to not sit in jail for minor offenses where they don't belong to be sitting in jail. So many people are sitting there just because they can't afford the $100 bail. $100, right? Seems like nothing maybe to most of us. But for some people, $100 is a lot of money. And to gather that when they don't have the means or the people to help them out, they just sit and rot away in jail just because they can't get out, and their case is continually being pushed ad infinitum, to infinity. Morgan McLaughlin, you say that you're a DUI counselor. Should you look for a new job? No, I don't think so. I think DUIs honestly are going to be back on the rise now that more and more restaurants. I don't know, where are you at, Morgan McLaughlin? Which jurisdiction are you in? I think DUIs are going to be going back on the rise now that restaurants are opening. At least in Kentucky, businesses started to open on last Friday, the 23rd, or the 22nd rather. So people were out and about. I think restaurants are open. Bars are still closed, as far as I know, but they should be opening up very, very shortly here. Hello from Idaho. Okay, now I think we got all 50 states covered. Thank you, Terry. You just got our 50th state. We got all of the United States and about 10 other countries covered. You're in Illinois. I don't know how open is Illinois right now. So they're opening up, and hopefully more and more people are going to be able to go out, have fun. And unfortunately, with that carries more arrests, more DUIs, more business for a lot of us who are in the business of DUI. And no, I don't think. I think it's too early to say. I think it's too early to say whether or not you should start looking for a new position. To be honest, I don't think we're there yet. I think we got. I think we got time. Should be fairly reasonable. Yeah, I think we got a little bit of time before we can determine whether or not this is totally going to be a waste of our time. Because, like I said, I've already moved on to doing some civil cases, a lot more civil cases. I'm doing a lot more car accidents, doing a lot more 1983 cases, sexual assault, domestic violence, assaults, criminal law, all that stuff. Do I have any thoughts on the sheriff that was arrested in New Mexico? Who's the sheriff that got arrested in New Mexico? Greek Bowl. Let's look it up. Rio Arriba County Sheriff arrested on Thursday. Is that the one? Oh, crap. You got to subscribe. Really? They're all subscription only. Let's see. Española police arrested Rio Arriba County Sheriff James Lujan on Thursday and charged him with 2 counts of obstructing an officer after he failed to comply with a search warrant for his cell phone. They arrested him after he failed to comply with a search warrant for his cell phone. The warrant was executed as part of an investigation into separate charges filed against Lujan in April in district court. He's accused of resisting, evading, and obstructing an officer after Española police said he arrived at March SWAT scene intoxicated and interfered with the operation. Oh, he appeared drunk on the job. Okay. Española police sergeant and department spokesperson Jeremy Apodoka said Lujan did not meet stipulations in the search warrant and physically resisted officers. Okay. So this guy's screwing up on the job. Okay. Could not elaborate on the stipulations. He said Lujan failed to follow, saying the situation was still active with full investigation in progress. The sheriff did resist and evade an obstruction and obstructed our officers, was subsequently arrested. So what do I think about that now that I've read it? I mean, rightfully so. Why you shouldn't show up drunk to your job if that's what they're accusing him of. And you definitely should not obstruct police officers when they want to go through your cell phone, especially because you probably don't have the same privileges as a civilian does because they have authority over him because he works for the department. So they probably have some sort of policy and authority to go through his cell phone, unless he might be constitutionally protected, just like everybody else. But there may be some different aspects that apply because he himself broke policy by showing up intoxicated. And I'm guessing the cell phone is going to show certain text messages that are going to implicate him one way or the other with this charge. So. I mean, I hate to say it, but I agree. I agree with the police on that one. Oh my God, the words are leaving my lips, I'm like, I can't believe I'm actually agreeing with them. But it seems like, your search warrant says to search me for personal phones, said Lujan. So I think he needs to comply so that he can, because otherwise they're going to fire him if they haven't already. And he's not going to be able to keep his job. So have I ever taken a Me Too or defamation case? No, I have not. I just don't get those phone calls because of my brand name. The video, somebody send me the link on like one of my channels, because that's you can't post links in here. On one of my videos on my channel, send me the link. I want to see this. I want to see this video of Lujan refusing a search of his cell phone. I'm very interested. I'm very interested in seeing that. Sheriffs, deputy sheriffs are not, but the main sheriff is an elected official. Yes, absolutely, Christopher. Put in the watch part. Yeah. See Perceptions music. And I think there is a delay in chat. That's a normal thing. The chat is always delayed. So there's always going to be a delay in chat. But yeah, see Perceptions music. Put in the watch part and I'll gladly view that video later in my leisure. I'm very interested in seeing that. Bye, buddy. See you later. And Johnny, I guess I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, that's fine. What's the highest BAC level I've ever successfully defended? I think it was a 265. It was well over 2.5. I don't remember exactly. It was over 2.5 though. They brought the SWAT team to get his phone. I didn't get that deep into the article. Oh yeah, that's right. I did. Never mind. I'm sorry. My brain is tired. I've been talking for the last hour and 40 minutes, and it's been a pretty exhausting day. So it's kind of it's. You're right. I did see that. I did see that at a March. But no, wait a second. No. He arrived at a March SWAT scene intoxicated. I don't think they used the SWAT to. I mean, I guess they could have. I don't know. That's crazy. Lujan's original charge of obstructing officers resulted from his arrival at a SWAT scene at the home of Philippe Chacon, whom officers were arresting after he was accused of stabbing a man. So he arrived at a SWAT scene. I don't think a SWAT team was trying to execute the search warrant, but hey, who knows? They might have. It would be fascinating to see. So he's been charged, but is he still on the job? Is he still working, or? Because I don't see anywhere on here that he's been on paid leave, unpaid leave. They just said he was obstructing their investigation. This happened Thursday, right? Thursday. Well, no, the last Thursday. This was May 21st, so it's been about a week. It's been about a week. I'll definitely check it out. Is there a video of him arriving intoxicated to the SWAT scene? Is there a video of him arriving intoxicated to the SWAT scene? Because I want to see that video. That's the video I definitely want to see. Or maybe him intoxicated, refusing a search of his cell phone. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, send me that link. Did you send me that link? I don't see that link. Or not link, the one after the watch part. Is it not letting you? Is it not letting you post? Because I want to see that video. Have I ever seen an impairment case from psilocybin? Asks Jay Piotrowski. No, I have not. I know they exist, but they're very rare and far and few in between. Especially in Kentucky, we don't really have psilocybin as a popular drug. We're more heroin and opium and alcohol, of course. Bourbon state. Audit the audit on YouTube. Okay, I'll find it. I'm sure I'll find it. Shouldn't be very difficult. All right. So what other questions you all have? Like I said, I'm sticking around a lot longer than usual. So I'll continue answering your questions. This is a very important topic. We really deviated from it, but it's okay. As tends to happen in these videos, we will always talk about the topic, and then somebody asks, "Oh, hey, are you wearing pants?" And then I'll avoid the question for 5 questions in a row, and I'll just continue to ignore you and not answer your question. And then we'll digress, and we'll start talking about Espanola Police, Rio Arriba Sheriff. But I'm happy to answer whatever other reasonable questions you might have. What are your other channels? I don't have any other channels, LL. They brought SWAT the second time to get his phone. There's effect. I want to see that. Are controlled substance DUIs harder? It depends. I wouldn't call them harder, especially given the fact that I recently won a DUI, marijuana DUI in Henderson County, Kentucky. And yes, I am in Kentucky. Somebody posted that. Somebody said, "Oh my God, are you in Kentucky?" Yes, I am in Kentucky. I don't know why that is shocking. I think that's everybody knows that by now, that I'm the DUI guy in Kentucky. Anyway, don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell, and so you get notified every time I go live and each time that I post a new video. There are 4 full parts. Oh, goodness. I have my entertainment for the evening. Here we go. Somebody got that. I'm going to save that. Oops. Out of control, Rio Arriba Sheriff tries to take over active scene while allegedly drunk. Part 1 of War. What a great title. It tries to take over an active scene. Are you kidding me? That's impressive. That's impressive. I can't wait to watch that later. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. What do you think is likely to happen to COVID? Wait. Well, yeah. What do you think is likely to happen regarding the COVID issue and riots, Stone Glasgow? What do you mean? Elaborate. In New Jersey, we had a dude nut off on heroin in his car in the highway and kill a father and son and a gas station attendant. Does he have a defense claiming his addiction caused it? That's not a defense that I'm addicted to drugs and therefore I am going to use that as a defense in court for the murder of or the killing, whatever he's going to be charged with. But there may be other defenses. So nodding off, obviously it was high on heroin. There may be some defenses that may be available to him, but being addicted, not a very good defense. The jury will, I mean, think about it. What jury in the world would be like, oh my God, I feel so bad. Yeah, he's got an addiction. He's got a serious problem. Let's acquit him. He's cool. He'll I'm sure he'll fix his problem. And okay, so a couple people are dead. No big deal, right? Not going to happen. Would you defend a person that has been arrested and assaulted by a cop and fought back? Yeah, it depends, Bob. But yeah, with those facts, I mean, it sounds like it would be a good case, potentially. But if they fight back, do they have a reason to fight back or not? That's the most important question. When do you use a bench trial in place of a jury trial, Kathy? When you have a good judge. When you have a judge that you think is going to be defense oriented and not purely prosecutorial. Is shooting black unarmed women in their bed still legal? It never was. KSBM 1669 moving to Louisville. Good for you. How can an officer say we found shake in the car and not bag and tag it? Shitty police work, Mr. Shoggins. Just the way it is. How long, Rag D, asks, how long should probate process take with a simple one person gets everything from the will? Whoa, where did you come from? Asking me wills and estates questions? I hired a lawyer a month ago and no progress. And you already have a lawyer. Why are you asking me? What? Come on now. Go to your lawyer. Shoo. Don't be asking me these questions. What is the best background search website that you've used? I don't really use them. Ketchup or mustard? Okay, we are really starting to get to the point where I'm like, we maybe have to terminate stream soon, but I don't want to. The discussions were so lively and they were so good, and there was so much good stuff that we were talking about. Come on. Any more questions about riots or George or Brianna or protesting or anything like that? Okay, here we go. MK Painter. Am I familiar with Michigan DUI law? Okay, let me stop right there and already say no, I am not. But back in 2010, I got a DUI reduced to DWI at 20. The cop who picked me up said I had to go get my blood drawn when I asked why. Sorry if fake Upper Peninsula cops, not Detroit cops. I have no idea. I don't know anything about Michigan at all. So, You want to talk to a Michigan lawyer? I can recommend one. I can definitely recommend one. Just give me an email. Shoot me an email, larryformanlaw.com. Message me on Twitter. Message me on YouTube. Message me on Facebook. Message me. Text me. Call me. Email me. Message me on my website. Whatever you want. I will be happy to oblige and answer wherever I can. Why was George arrested? I don't know. I don't remember if they said that or not. I know he got pulled over. He was the driver of the vehicle, but why was he arrested? I don't know, actually. Oh, that's right. That's right. He went to a store and presented. It was theft by deception. It was a theft by deception case, I believe. Counterfeit 20. Everyone is saying it was a counterfeit 20. The lawyer is ghosting them. Yes, Joel. Passing a counterfeit currency. Okay. Hey, Rick Frank from Cincinnati. You're pretty much our neighbor. I'm sorry about that, Ragd, but I can't help you. Not my area of expertise, but you're more than welcome to look for another lawyer. Any other questions about riots or Brianna Taylor, George Floyd, Derek, what's his face? Is it legal for... Thank you, David. I really appreciate it, David Denny. Is it legal for cops to drive by peaceful protesters and spray the very super strong tear gas? Well, it depends, Roxanne. It really does depend on the situation. So if the protesters are getting out of line and become more riot-like with violence and vandalism, maybe. If not, then no. I mean, can the police instigate and throw the tear gas to get a reaction? Absolutely not. Do they do it? Absolutely yes. Are they allowed to do it? Absolutely not. Should they do it? Absolutely not. Are they going to continue to do it? Probably yes. What do I think about the Umbrella Man? Who? Who's the Umbrella Man? Self-made millionaire. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, you're getting the boot. Bye, sorry ass millionaire. Everybody say bye-bye. Bye. Oh, I'm sorry. Self-made millionaire. I thought it was sorry ass millionaire. People are rioting in Louisville as we speak, TM. Rioting is not a form of assembly. That's a violent protest. Jeremy Collins. I sound like an auctioneer. I do have that booming voice, I have been told. I would make a great radio announcer. If you all have not heard my radio commercial, by the way, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it for you. There it is. My radio commercial. My radio commercial is really good. Like, that's actually my voice. I recorded that with my own voice, and I just posted it in the chat. Thank you for the $5, Trashman4444. What is the most corrupt means to get probable cause to search someone? I've come across just the cop saying, "I smell weed. I smell marijuana. Now I can search your entire car, and if I find something, great. If not, they're just gonna let you go." Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell if you haven't already, so you can hear when I go live and when I post new videos. I will watch it later about the drunk sheriff, Rick. Durst Effect, thank you for the $2.99, man. Appreciate that. We're gonna grab a coffee. We're gonna grab a coffee with that. The report says that George had a counterfeit bill, but there's no evidence to back it up. I don't know. Thank you, KSBM1669. I really appreciate it. And Willard, thank you so much. Would I attend one of the peaceful assemblies? Probably not. It's not my forte. I don't really go to those. Like I said, I'm with you in spirit. Did I speak on qualified immunity? Yes. Yes, Prince. I already spoke on it earlier. What is the estimated accuracy of DUI blood tests for BAC in Kentucky? Very low, I would venture to guess, because I don't trust them, but they're worth something, but I don't believe anything that the government does anymore. You want to discuss probable cause? I can discuss probable cause. It's completely off topic, Embry, but I'm happy to do it. You want to talk about probable cause? What do you want to know, Embry? Or anybody? Feel free. We got almost 200. We got almost 200 people in here. Only about 20, 25 people are talking, it seems like. The others are kind of just enjoying the show. So what do you want to know? Okay, Embry, I got you. You want to discuss probable cause? Why not? Let's discuss probable cause. What questions do you have? Explain the 4 stages of arrest. What do you mean? There are 4 stages to any arrest? Is this theory? Any chess players out there will get a kick out of that? Is this theory? There are 4 stages of any arrest. Is that theory? Embry, if you say that one more time, I swear to God, I will silence you. Because I don't think the chat is delayed that much. Oh, is Embry a bot? It's very possible. Can anybody confirm that Embry is a bot? Yeah, I saw that, Rick Frank. I got the video. I appreciate that. I already got it from somebody. Dave K with the clutch $20, man. Thank you. Food for tomorrow is ready. Thank you, sir, for another extremely important chat. Stay safe and God bless you. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that, man. Why do they get away with so much probable cause? They're the police. They have a lot of discretion. We talked about that. How does one check for a bot? I don't know. That's what I'm asking you guys. Is freedom to assemble in church limited to 10 people? I think... oh, here we go. See Perceptions Music. Step 1. This is theory, okay? So move 1, consensual contact. 2, reasonable suspicion. 3, probable cause. 4, arrest. Okay. I thought I learned that. It's quite possible. I mean, I'm not saying that I just never heard that being called the 4 stages. I may have learned that in high school or in college. I just don't remember because we don't ever refer to it that way. But can I talk about the 4 stages? I mean, you just did. First, the police officer has the initial contact with the individual where, a lot of people will say, am I free to leave, or am I being detained? And if the officer says, you're not being detained, but I'm investigating, so am I free to leave? You're not free to leave. Okay, so I am being detained, and they jump into that loop. And then if the officer in that interaction decides that their license is clean, there's nothing to issue a citation over, or there's something to issue just a citation over, like an expired tag, or their license plate light is not functioning, or their headlight is out, whatever it is, then they'll issue the citation and move on. And then if they get reasonable suspicion of criminal activity, they can conduct further investigation. That's the Terry stop. Then if I think probable cause and arrest will kind of go together at that point, because if they have probable cause of a crime, they have a right to arrest. So, and then the first and the second also kind of go together. So I would really only call it 2 steps, because it's the contact looking for reasonable suspicion while you're having the initial contact. And then if you develop probable cause over the course of that, then you can arrest. So that's essentially it. Adventures in Modern Recording. Thank you for the $5, my man. Is there ever a situation where you would not remain silent but explain yourself to police? No. No, 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 no. There is not a single situation where you should not remain silent and explain yourself to police. No. No, Woody. The answer is no. If you heard yes, get off your drugs. Hey, somebody really said that I have a very good singing voice. So I guess I'm going to utilize it some more. Maybe create a sister channel where I sing songs. The DUI guy karaoke. Johnny Haynes says no means yes. Do not let Johnny Haynes anywhere near girls or women. My dad was a Michigan State trooper, says MK Painter, and even told my brother and I to shut up and get a lawyer, all caps. Shut up and get a lawyer. Yes. Sound advice. Absolutely. Joe's Girl, welcome. Joe's Girl says, I just accidentally stumbled across this. What in the world is this channel? Welcome to the DUI guide. Excuse me. Allow me. Welcome to the DUI Guide channel. My name is Larry Forman, and I'm an attorney here in Louisville, Kentucky. I practice in the areas of criminal law and car accidents. What you are going to see on my channel are various videos that include my cross-examinations of police officers, opening statements, closing arguments, openings by prosecutions, picking a jury, how to pick a jury, and most importantly, you will be able to see some very interesting cross-examinations of police officers in DUI cases. So, welcome, Joe's Girl, to the DUI Guy channel. Batteries not included. All right. Any other questions from anyone? We are coming up on. Hey, Willie Czar. What's up, brother? Cody, man, that's really uncalled for. Thank you, Willie Czar. Yeah, you missed the talk. You missed the talk. I'm sorry about that. You can watch it later. You can watch it later. It's going to be on my channel. I'll thank you for the $10, brother. I really appreciate it, man. Durst Effect, $5. Thanks for the videos and entertainment, brother. Thanks, brother. I really appreciate it. I thought you might want a Starbucks coffee. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Thanks, man. What about traveling without a license? Wrong channel. Granny Gear, I've asked my question 10 times. It's limited to 10 people, unconstitutional. It's freedom to assemble in church. Oh. No, I answered that. Can more than 10 people gather? In some places, yes. Some places, no. Oh, Thor Anonymous says, WTF, wow, you have haters. My policy is, if you don't have haters, that means you're not doing it right. People who do it right have a lot of haters. Such is life, man. If you just sit in the corner and do nothing, you will have no haters, but you will also have accomplished nothing in life. So I say, what's the point? I like to stick my neck out there where reasonable. Don't just stick your neck out there everywhere for everybody for any reason, everywhere. That would just be stupid and risk death. What is incarceration and stuff? What is the best way to go through a DUI checkpoint? Yes, remain silent and close window. Yes and yes. Oh, Embry Smith. I'm sorry. Okay, it was not posting. We thought you were a bot, Embry. I was seriously getting ready to silence you, but then you stopped. So I stopped. I stopped myself from silencing I wouldn't have banned you. I would have probably silenced you at first, but yeah. And you're welcome, Thor Anonymous. Well, Granny Gear, with the coronavirus, the assembly of more than 10 people in certain jurisdictions may not be permitted. Never talk to the cops. Durst Effect, absolutely. Thank you for the stream, says C Perceptions Music. You're welcome, brother. Thank you for the $2 donation, KSBM 1669. She says, I think it's a she. Says 3, 2, 1. Is this to launch? To ending the stream? To me singing again? What's the 3, 2, 1 for? 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year? I don't get it. How would your personal arrest at a peaceful protest affect your job? Probably make me famous, put me on the map. Maybe do nothing. I don't know. Not going to risk it. You should do that in the beginning of every video with that radio voice. It's very selling. I appreciate that, Thor. Are you talking about this voice right here? Coming up next on the DUI Guy channel, DUI Guy rambles on and on about absolutely nothing for any reason whatsoever. Tune in Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
2 o'clock Central.
What? Not everybody can do that? To me, that seems like
Oh my God, did you guys see that bird? Oh wait, I didn't realize my screen was not turned that way, so you had absolutely no idea.
okay. Am I a voiceover artist? I can be. We can do a little Kermit the Frog. Hey, Miss Piggy, why don't we go over there and see a couple of things? I don't know. I'm very hungry. I might go. I might go grab a snackaroo. I can do quite a few accents, and I could be a voiceover artist. Nobody ever offered me a position, so there are many things that the Americans just simply don't understand. This is the French accent, of course. If you don't even know, if you don't even realize that this is French, then poo on you. You don't deserve to be looked at. That is you heard a little Pee Wee Herman in there on the Kermit the Frog one, or the radio announcer. Some people say I look like Pee Wee Herman. I don't know. I guess maybe I do. That's unfortunate, but. Can you sing a Kermit song? It's not easy being green. Oh man, I used to do Armstrong. Oh man, I can't even do it right now. My voice is shot because I've been talking for the last 2 hours. I swear, maybe this channel is going to develop into something completely different. It's just going to be me rambling on and on. I'll have to create a sister channel. I can't do it on here because this channel is more for legal purposes, and I want to keep it that way. But yeah, I always wanted to be an actor. I mean, this is why I love it in the courtroom so much, is because it's my one place where I can actually act and be myself. Literally, it allows me the acting opportunity. I always wanted to be an actor. I just I don't have any contacts in like California or whatever to become one. You're the most laid-back attorney I have ever seen. I'm the people's attorney, young Archie Bunker. And Joe's Girl, this is not just an entertainment channel. This is actually a legal channel, believe it or not. We're just having a little fun. It's a Saturday night. People are rioting outside. You guys need some entertainment, so I'm providing it for you. We're losing viewers slowly but surely, but I'm just going to keep it going for a little bit longer. We've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes here, so I'm confused. You're being yourself when you act. We're always acting. We're always acting somebody, something, somewhere. KSBM. I mean, did I pass the bar the first time? Oh, yes, Brian. Better Call Saul. Yeah, I watched the entire Breaking Bad and the entire Better Call Saul. Miles. I just finished the last season. I think they have one season left, they're saying. And El Camino, if you've seen El Camino, that movie also, like, they drug it out a little too much, I feel, in certain moments. But I mean, that's their style. It's just in a movie, they wasted 30 minutes on like that one scene where or not wasted, invested like 30 minutes into that one scene in El Camino where Jesse was trying to go in to kill that guy who stole his money or whatever. I forget what it was. I forgot the plot, honestly. I just remember there was one where he was going into the two guys in the trailer. That was bad. Like, I didn't like that part too much. But has anything ever come out as to what the cop was thinking when he was holding his knee on the guy's neck? Like, why he did it? No, Joe's Girl. We have not gotten that far in the case, so I don't think anybody knows actually how far that has gotten as to what his thoughts were. What kind of an attorney am I? I'm the DUI guy, David Denny. I specialize in DUIs and car accidents. Life is a stage. You got to write perception music. See, there it is again. Somebody says, I don't look like Paul Rubin, or I do look like Paul Rubin. I do or I don't. I don't know. I do not speak French, Thor. The governor ordered a 9 p.m. curfew here too, Bob. So curfew is going into effect in 2 minutes. Wow, it's already 9 o'clock. Curfew is going into effect in 2 minutes in Kentucky. Crazy, crazy stuff, huh? Crazy stuff. No problem, David. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Arizona Bug. I should have warned. Spoiler alert. That movie came out like 5 months ago. If you haven't seen it yet, get on it, man. Unless you are just still catching up. Sorry about that. So, delayed spoiler alert. Military is mobilizing. I like you too, Thor. Thanks, brother. Okay. Unless there are any other questions, it feels like I feel like I'm in a Twitch chat right now. I feel like I'm in a Twitch chat. It's just people talking, and I should be like doing something, but I'm not doing anything. There's nothing on my screen. Can I even like screen share? Can I screen share on YouTube? Yeah, let's go in that direction. I'm just curious. Can I? Because people I know they stream on YouTube and they screen share, right? Yeah. Wait. What did I just do? What is that? Insert ad? Uh-oh. What does that do? What is that button? You have to have OBS. If you don't have OBS, it won't work. I don't know what OBS is. So that's definitely stream chess. Oh, definitely. Miles, that would definitely be my thing. I mean, I would love to stream chess, even though I'm really bad at it. I'm rated like 1500. I'm really, really bad at chess. But apparently a lot of people have started streaming, like, you know, the XQC or BoxBox. They started streaming and they're like rated 1,000 or like 1,100. My chess rating is somewhere between 14 and 1,700. So it's probably like, I'd say 1,550, like a solid 1,550 probably. Like on a good day, I could play like a 1,600, or if I'm really on top of my game, maybe I can play like a 1,600. But that's it. I cannot play above like a 1,650 on any given day. I'm not that good. But normally I feel like I play like an 800. No, not like an 800. On an average day, I feel like I play like a 1,300 if I'm not having like a good day. And that's not rapid. That's blitz. That's blitz. I play, I'm sorry, I should have clarified. 3-minute blitz. 3-minute blitz. I am 3-minute blitz. I can play like a 1,650. So flagging obviously comes into a huge factor. Flagging is when the other person runs out of time. So unless they're really, really good, or unless they're like really, really fast or really, really bad, then I'll beat them. But if they're really, really good and fast, then they're gonna beat me. But blitz, yeah, I play 3-minute chess. I used to play on Lee Chess, and it's just funny because like on Lee Chess, I'm rated like 1,750 in 3-minute blitz, but on chess.com, I was rated like 1,350. And I play the same. So I'm guessing fewer people are on Lee Chess, so they got a smaller pool. And on chess.com, it's more accurate because the pool is larger. I mean, classical chess, I'm probably rated like 1,400 max, I would say. 1,400 max. So Connect 4, that's another respectable game. Connect 4. Yeah. Yeah, Connect 4 is good. Puzzle Rush is fun. Oh, Lichess overrates. There it is, Miles. I was not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. I like to play the Puzzle Rush. If you guys ever played Choker is chess plus poker. First you play poker and then you go into chess. Like you play poker with like chess cards. You get like a pawn, a knight, a bishop, a rook, or a queen, and you draw 3 cards. Then you draw a fourth and then a fifth. Bye, Mr. Magoo. Have I ever played Chess 960? Yes, I have. That's absolutely insane. I hate it. Words with Friends is fun too. John Stone, the party pooper. Oh, come on now. Whoa. We're just talking, man. Don't be a party pooper. Boo, Jon Snow or John Stone. Boo. So yeah, the curfew is going into effect right now. Thanks, Ryhawk. Good to see you, brother. Later, Durst Effect. I think there's an app for that, Stone Glasgow. All right. Okay. So I'm tired. It's been fun. I don't have... wait, there's another question. Oh, excuse me. Young Archie Bunker. Can you legally defend yourself from a non-warranted police beatdown? Sure. Good luck. It'll be hard. Can you not take donations through to your stream? Sure. If you hit the show your support for the DUI guy button on the bottom there, the super chat or a super sticker, you can send me stuff. Send me money or whatever. No pressure. It's on there. You can send a super sticker or a super chat, and yeah, this is an art. I'm not gonna lie. So when I first started streaming, well, luckily I didn't have that many people. I only had maybe like 5 or 6 or 10 people at a time. And then when I started having like 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, the most I've ever had on a live stream where I'm talking like this, I think was probably today. I almost had 300 concurrent viewers. And that was pretty crazy. And keeping up with it, especially when I'm talking, it's impossible, of course. But then when we go into chat mode, like we are now, where I'm talking to you guys directly, it's not easy. It took me a while to learn, and it's an art, folks. It is an art because it's not easy. Because you have to pay attention. You have to keep up. You have to be mindful. You have to be cognizant. You have to be on top of it, and you have to also kind of mentally vet through the questions that don't make any sense or are trolls or are annoying or whatever. So yeah, there we go. See, just like that. Thank you, Kathy, for the $5. Got another coffee for Monday now. Thank you so much. That's awesome. You guys are awesome. You know that? You are awesome. You guys are awesome. Can I have an independent video in the courtroom? Yeah, pretty much all the time. But I'm not going to do it because I don't see that as necessary. John Stone says, I've read that qualified immunity was created by the appellate court decisions. Can qualified immunity be eliminated by statute? Maybe. I mean, of course, there's always the checks and balances that the legislature has on the judiciary. It can also always be questioned. I mean, they always question each other. So when you have a statute being passed, the judiciary can strike it, or if the judiciary creates a law, it could be struck by executive order as well. So anything is possible. And can qualified immunity be struck if the General Assembly, meaning the United States Senate and the United States House, pass a law that says qualified immunity is hereby abolished? I mean, of course, it'll be questioned by the judiciary. They can't just get rid of it, like that. But if the Supreme Court limits it, I doubt that the House and the Senate will act. I don't think they would. Thank you for the $10, Ryhawk. I really appreciate that, man. Yes, it did. Thank you so much, man. The most profitable form of trial law, accidents, definitely, because you're going up against insurance companies that have deep pockets. So I'm gonna go another couple minutes. I'm just gonna go like 2-3 more minutes. We've been here for 2.5 hours. This is also the longest stream I think I've ever done. So thank you guys all for joining me. For real, this has been really fun. This has been a lot of fun. Let's see. I think I got quite a lot of views here too. So this has been good. I think YouTube is still showing me as live with 130 watching. We still have 130 people in here. Holy crap. Normally by this time we get like 20 or 30 left. You guys are troopers. You guys are true troopers, for real. Respect. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, everybody. Thanks for joining once again. Is law worth to get into? Would you recommend a recent high school grad to pursue it? If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not, Miles. It's not my place. It's not my place to really tell you, but I'm hoping to get some more videos so I can share with you guys. I need to get some more content. With coronavirus, it has not been easy, of course. It has not been easy. So, okay. All right. I guess we'll end here. Looks like chat is kind of already dying down, saying good night and goodbye. So thank you all once again. Thank you all for coming tonight, Saturday night, May 30th. It's been great. We talked about the quarantine. We talked about the law. We talked about the riots. We talked about qualified immunity. We talked about George Floyd and Brianna Taylor. We talked about a lot of good stuff. It's been a pleasure having all of you here. Thank you all for joining me. I really do feel like a announcer. Like I should probably use that voice a lot more often. It's really fun, and since you guys like it, then maybe I should be using that voice a whole lot more often. Thank you once again for joining me, where I ramble on absolutely no reason, no nothing, at no blah blah blah. I ran out of words. So thanks again for joining me. It's been fun. It's been a pleasure. We goofed off also at the end. We had some Q&A, and then we went on a completely different tangent. So once again, have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. June 1st is Monday. Monday is finally June. Can you believe it? Summer is 3 weeks away. So hopefully we are going to have a nice, warm summer with no more quarantine and more people going outside. Stay safe, everybody. And KSBM, you're getting chills every time I do the radio announcer voice. Okay, I should make like an ASMR video with such a voice. Maybe people can appreciate that a little bit more coming from a male voice as well. So thank you all so much once again for coming. And John Stone says, you have been a tremendous disappointment. Well, I am sorry that I have haters, John Stone, but such is the life of a celebrity. They have haters, and they're always going to have haters. If you do not have haters, then you are not doing it right. Peace out, everybody.